Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and my last extreme frugal tip video did really well. In fact, it's one of my best ones out there, and when I did it, I was a little embarrassed to do it, but you know what? Underconsumption is actually a buzzword now, and underconsumption for those of us that are frugal or sometimes just borderline cheap, that just encourages us to do more of it. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do that are frugal. I call them smart, and I may have a couple in there that might be a little embarrassing, but I'm going to share them with you anyway because I know there's some frugal people out there and some underconsumption people out there today that are going to appreciate them. So let's get started. So the first one I'm going to share with you is about clothing. In fact, this t-shirt I have on today, this was my 27-year-old's t-shirt when he was in high school. And he's my youngest of 6, and he didn't want it anymore. So he left some stuff here when he left. And some of the stuff that was like unisex that I could wear and fit me and was comfortable, I kept it because why not? I'm going to get some use out of that. I paid for 6 kids to have clothes all through their life in high school. So you bet if I have clothes like that that were left here that I can wear, I'm going to wear them. And I'm still selling some of their stuff from high school. My oldest is 43. My youngest is 27. And I had some like brand new capris that my third one wore. She's in her upper 30s. They were never even hardly used, and they were jeans. Well, jeans don't go bad. So stuff like that, I am still selling with kids that old. And I have nightgowns that are just threadbare, as my mom would say, ones that are so worn out or maybe stained that they should be tossed by the normal average person. But those threadbare ones, I wear them in the summer. They're light, they're cool, they're comfortable, they're airy. And if you're like me, if you've ever bought like a new nightgown or new pajamas, sometimes they're just not as comfortable as those ones that you have broken in. So yeah, I keep them. They may have some holes, they may have some like runners in them like they would in pantyhose because they're so thin, but I'm going to keep them until I can't wear them anymore because they're perfect for summer. My mom grew up in the Depression era time, and when I was being raised by her, she saved all of those threadbare clothes. She wore them in the summer, she wore them in the field when we were working out in the heat, and they were perfect for summer. So you bet, a little bit of stains, a little bit of holes, they're perfect clothes for home work days, and they are perfect night clothes for sure if they're comfortable and soft. The second thing that I do is I still use things from high school. And I know a lot of people talk about upgrading. I don't upgrade some things because they just don't make them like I like them anymore, and I'm not going to get rid of them. One of the things is my hairbrushes from high school. They just don't make good hairbrushes like this anymore with firm bristles that will go through my thick curly hair. And you're probably saying, ooh, from high school, that's kind of gross. I have an old tennis bag because tennis balls go on walkers, and I was a career nursing home administrator. Saved the bag from the tennis balls. I can throw these right in here. I can cinch this bag up just like a linen bag that you would pay for in the store. Throw it right in the washer. They come out super clean. If you've not thought of washing your hairbrushes, this is a great way to do it. I also have combs from high school, and these go through my thick hair. They don't make these great combs anymore, and I have them in a lot of colors, and I'm not parting with them. I also have my mug from the class of '84. It's a great thick mug with a wide base so you can't accidentally like tip it over. It is fantastic. And I still have suitcases, those hard suitcases from high school. At one time, I had them in all different sizes as this one. This one's the only one I have left. It works perfect for overnight weekend trips. And then I have this cute little bag. You'll see this bag if you watch old Love Boat reruns. Almost everybody is carrying in one of these bags that is a female on that old Love Boat. So I just love that. But my grandma gave me this for 8th grade graduation. I love this suitcase. And I know that I have other things in this house that were from high school. I just can't think of them right now. One of the ones that might be a little embarrassing is if something's broken, if I can get a few more uses out of it, I will. As in, I have a very expensive bra. We all know how much bras cost. This one broke under here. You know how the band will like break and roll, and once it's done it so many times, it won't stay down, and then it is just uncomfortable? Well, this one I figured out by accident. I accidentally put it on inside out one day, not paying attention. And you know what? It didn't roll because it fixed that broken seam by flipping it inside out. Now, it wouldn't work on all bras if you have a lot of lace and stuff, but this one is slick and comfortable, and flipping it inside out made it where I could wear it for a while longer without spending like another $30 to $40 on a bra. So if you are short on money and this has happened to you and you have one like this, just wear it inside out. Nobody will know. I also have a lamp that I was so upset. I broke a panel out of it when I was dusting. And I was like, I love this lamp and it still works. So I just spin it around to the back where nobody can see, and the broken panel part is against the wall. Let me know if you've ever done stuff like this. Like maybe you have a little defect or a hole in your wall and you hang a picture over it. Sometimes these things work to get you by until you can afford to do the next thing. So these are some of my embarrassing ones. Sometimes I use broken stuff, at least for a while. Another thing I do is I look at little dabs that I have left over in the fridge, and I figure out how to make meals stretch out of them. I spend a lot of time here alone by myself eating breakfast and lunch while my husband is not here. And so it makes a huge difference if I can stretch a meal on the things that I can eat while I'm here by myself. And I had just this little dab of lentils left. It was soup, but after being in the fridge, it thickened up. And so I used it to make some lentil tacos. I just put them in some soft tortilla shells, added some taco seasoning and some shredded cabbage. Oh my gosh, delicious delicacy out of just a dab left in my fridge. And I challenge myself to do stuff like that because I just find it incredible to save money on little things that are left over that aren't really enough for a meal. Also, sometimes instead of cooking for supper, my husband and I will just have cheese and crackers, maybe a piece of fruit, and then maybe some popcorn later on in the evening. As we get older, we don't need that much food. Sometimes our metabolism has really slowed down. So we don't want to add to the pounds that I already need to lose. So sometimes we just do simple little things like that. and we end up not cooking, which that saves us money. We're not running the microwave, we're not running the stove, we're eating some things that are not like meat, so it's not very expensive, and it's a great little supper, and we do that quite a bit. Also, if I have hummus, I'm not buying pita bread. Pita bread is too expensive, so I use soft tortillas. They work just as well. They're delicious with your hummus, and I can get them at Aldi, the soft taco kind, for like $1.39 for like 12. So, no, I'm not buying pita bread. So if you watch my channel, you know I like to use, reuse, use what I have, repurpose items. I like to stretch my dollar as far as possible because I am early retired. I'm not old enough yet for Social Security. So stretching my money gives me the opportunity to travel and do other things with my free time. So I always look for any way that I can save money. If these types of tips are interesting or inspiring to you, I encourage you to follow my channel for more great tips. This one might upset some people, but since I retired, I drive the speed limit. I don't need to drive over because I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere anymore. So I've turned into one of those 60-year-olds that you pass on the highway. But you have to remember, I grew up in the time where our speed limit was 55 miles an hour. And it was 55 miles an hour because it was thought to save on gas use. And we were conservative back then, trying to save on gas as a nation. So if you even Google this and look, 55 miles an hour is more fuel efficient than 65. It saves about 6 to 8 miles per gallon, or roughly 8 to 10% of your fuel costs. So if I have a speed limit sign that says 60 or 65, I'm driving that. If it says 75, I'm not driving 75. I don't need to. I'll just stay in the slow lane and you can pass me. But the days of driving like 5 over in our state, I don't do that anymore. And in some states, 10 over is acceptable. But now that I'm retired, I don't have the urgency to speed like I did when I was working. I don't have to be somewhere at a certain time, or if I have an appointment, I just leave in plenty of time to get there because I know I am actually saving gas and saving money by going the speed limit or staying around that 60 to 65 mile per hour mark. So let me know if you live in a state where 5 over is considered acceptable or 10 over is considered acceptable, or if you live where the speed limit is the speed limit. I have 2 adult sons that visited Scotland this past year, and they said in Scotland, the speed limit is the speed limit. 1 over is speeding. And that's why they look at it as the speed limit. You can drive anything under, but don't go over. I also don't do excessive acceleration on my car, and I glide up to stoplights and stop signs by letting off the gas and not overusing my brake. I want to use those gas fumes to glide up to something and coast. I don't want to hit the brake and go full speed up there and then suck my gas. Gas costs too much right now. And when I watch those big, like double cab pickups pass somebody and they're just hitting that gas, I just know they are watching their gas tank go down. Another thing I do is I try to extend the life of my big ticket items, like my furniture. I have a love seat that is not in great shape on the covering underneath this little throw. But I bought this fitted throw to go over my love seat. I measured it out and it covered it up. It's still a great piece of furniture and I'm able to use it with this cute little throw. Now, this may not be fancy enough for some people, but I love it and it matches the type of decor that I have in my house. I also will put throws over the top of my recliners to keep there from being stains from people sitting where their heads go. A lot of times that happens, and just putting a throw over the top of the back of the recliner makes it last longer. I save these little yogurt containers because they work great if I buy like a head of lettuce that I want to regrow from the stem. And I save these because clear glasses work best on things like that. You could also put some green onions in here and grow roots. I just did this a few days ago and I need to plant these today because look, they've already grown a whole bunch of roots and it's only been about a couple of weeks. I also write things on envelopes and I save those from the garbage until I have used those up. I save clips and bread twisties from bread. They work great for so many things. I reuse any vegetable oil, baking grease, anything like that. And I save all of my packing materials that I get and I reuse those as well as paper bags. If I get paper bags, I save those and reuse those because I do sell things on eBay and sometimes I need some packing material. I also try to avoid using any plastic wrap or any aluminum foil. I will cover things with a plate that go in the refrigerator or put them in another container. I will flip a cookie sheet upside down on a 9x13 pan if I've made a cake or something to try to avoid using aluminum foil. The only thing I really use it for is like if I'm cooking a baked potato and adding oil, or we're cooking something on the grill and we need to wrap it in something, or we're camping. This aluminum foil is about 5 years old. And I just looked on the Walmart online app. 2 of these, they're 37.5 feet, $23.46. So if you can use something you already have instead of this or plastic wrap, it will save you a bunch of money. And just a side note, nowhere does it say on these things that it is disposable. Nowhere. Read the box. Nowhere does it say that. I don't know where we all got the idea that it's disposable, probably because it might be a hassle to clean at times. And I will clean it if it's not a hassle to clean. If I've just put it over the top of something and it didn't get dirty or didn't get very dirty, you bet I am folding it up and putting it in the cabinet to use again later. There is some in there, and that's why this has lasted me 5 years. Let me know some of the things you do that are extreme frugal. And thanks for listening today, and I hope you'll come back for another video and give me a thumbs up.